people who just happen to come on here, fans of the Gluttonous Geek, my name is Catherine Barsonistas, and you're watching the Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies and Minis. Munchies and Minis is a Dungeons, Dragons, and sort of tabletop role-playing game inspired cooking show and painting demonstration, where I first cook up a snack inspired by, well, Dungeons and Dragons or any other kind of tabletop role-playing game, and then work on painting a mini, even though I think I just said that. Anyway, I've recently been doing the 52 weeks of D&D challenge, fan art challenge on Twitter. This past week, we did the challenge word of, God, what was it? Elf. Yes, the challenge word was elf. And for that, we did some mint and raspberry pies. This week, the challenge word is prophecy. So I was originally thinking, how in the heck can food be prophetic? But, so I kind of did some research and went, yeah, this still makes no sense. However, a thought came to me. What about foods that are associated with divination and telling of the future and prophecy, or rather what the prophets in folklore would use as part of their rituals? So what we're going to do is we're going to be making some tea-smoked mushrooms. Mushrooms, do I really need to explain what the significance of that is? Go ask your parents. No, I'm not. We're going to be using button mushrooms today because, for one, the others are, well, the ones that actually make you see stuff are illegal. And you don't necessarily want to be eating them in large quantities because you're essentially giving yourself food poisoning. This stuff, however, is the stuff you're going to find in pretty much every grocery store. So we're going to be using some button mushrooms for that. Next, in addition to doing these smoked mushrooms today, I'm also going to be finishing up a recipe I started on Monday that's going to be going on the blog. It's inspired by Aladdin. I was going off of the scene, opening scene with the song Arabian Nights, the whole device that makes julienne fries. So we're making some eggplant julienne fries based off of an old kind of golden age of Arabia's recipe, abrinya, with a sugar date and pistachio ketchup to go along with it. We've already been soaking our eggplant strips for a little while in some goat bouillon, so we're going to be frying that up once I get the mushrooms in the smoker. Partially the reason why I'm doing this tonight is that once I get everything in the smoker, it's just a game of sitting and waiting. So in the meantime, we're going to be doing a little bit more culinary stuff. Also, before I start painting and working on our shambling mound here, which I'm going to switch the prep cam, there he is. I only just got a little bit of a shade on him earlier, so we're going to try to add a little bit more base coats to him later. So, right, I suppose that we should probably get started. So, what you want to do is first bring your ingredients together, but that's what you want to do. What I want to do is get a drink, because it's been an interesting, just in this past 5 minutes trying to get this episode together, when my computer decided to crash, as well as my Streamlabs, as well as my Stream Deck. So that would have been fun. Luckily, we managed to get it working in just, the last minute or two, so that's why we're just a teensy bit late. So first I'm just going to make up myself some hobo sangria, or rather it just might be. Yeah, I'm a classy cook. I always cook with wine. Sometimes it ends up in the food. Julia Childs. So, cardboard Chianti on top of ice. Do we have any soda to water this down with? We do not. Alright, well, I'm just gonna... I've got some cola, but that just seems really kind of cruel and unusual to my senses. So, iced wine it's going to be. All right. So, to get my recipe that I wrote up this afternoon, balanced on top of my paintbrushes, and let's get started. So first, you want to make your vinaigrette, because this is what we're going to be soaking our mushrooms in. Let me just switch to our prep cam here. I'm going to start out with about 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. Olive oil, or just olives in general, are very sacred to the ancient Greeks because of the goddess Athena. So that's why we're using that, but also it's an oil that's not completely flavor neutral, but goes along well with the rest of the ingredients we're using today, as well as just kind of plays into sort of the mythology aspect we're working with, these prophetic smoked mushrooms. To that, I'm just going to whisk in some red wine vinegar. That is about a quarter cup. Remember your standard vinaigrette. Once I find where the heck my whisk is. Wire whisk! Here we are. A standard vinaigrette is about 1 part vinegar to 3 parts oil. So I do a little bit of whisking that together. Next up, I'm going to add about a quarter cup of honey. And if you're wondering what the significance of honey is to prophecy, the Norse god Casimir was born from the meat of poetry. Casimir experienced many visions of past, present, and future. So, just gonna whisk that together a bit more, because honey also acts a little bit as an emulsifier to help bring oil and vinegar together into a combined form. You ever hear of like mixing like oil and vinegar? Well, an emulsifier allows you to marry them together. Right, so I've got that. And I'm gonna add a pinch or two of kosher salt. Kosher salt, the best way to pinch that, so to speak, is you take about 3 fingers and your thumb to get a pinch. We're just gonna add a bit more to that. So, once again, just whisking that together. And we're gonna put that to the side. Next up, got my mixing bowl here, and you'll need a pound of whole button mushrooms. And I mean the fresh kind, not the kind you get in a can, because what's the point? So, just gonna brush the dirt off into a separate dish I'll wash out later. Now, I know that you usually think, well, why aren't you rinsing that? Well, the thing is, mushrooms act kind of like sponges, so I'm not adding any extra water to that at the moment because it'll just soak it all up. I don't want it to do that because I want it to get more of this vinaigrette that I made. So just brushing off the dirt. A little dirt hurt nobody. It's good for you. So just lightly brushing that. Brushy, brushy. Now feel free to use different types of mushrooms for this. I mean, I'm using button because they're found in most grocery stores. And generally you want to have most of your mushrooms have this frill closed up. This one I'm using is okay because it's for the most part closed up, but that also indicates freshness. Feel free to use cremini mushrooms, which are labeled as baby bella, or even chopped up portobello chunks. I will not judge. It all smokes the same down here. My personal favorite, shiitakes, which I may try to do that next time I make this recipe. And the reason why I love shiitake mushrooms so much is they've got this great meaty flavor. It's so good that you can even eat them raw, and they're just mind-blowingly delicious. And on another recipe note too, if you ever get dehydrated mushrooms at the store, especially if you're at an Asian supermarket and you pick up some dried shiitake mushrooms, the great thing about that is that, well, for one, they keep longer, but two, when you rehydrate them, you get this great soaking liquid that makes a great base for sauces. Almost done. More. All right. Cool. All right, so now that we've got that together, I'm just gonna kind of bring my vinaigrette back together a bit. Pour it over my mushrooms. Okay. All right. I'm just going to take a spatula to that to give it a quick stir. I'll use a larger one because I don't want to damage my mushrooms. This will work. Okay. So you just kind of want to toss it to coat. And by toss, I mean fold, I guess. Mushrooms do tend to get a bit delicate, and you don't want it kind of flying all over the place. I'm just going to set those to the side for the next 5 to 10 minutes to just let it soak up that marinade. In the meantime, I'm going to be needing to put together my smoking mix to smoke these mushrooms with. So I went with a couple of various ingredients that are not really the standard hardwood that you would find in most smoked food applications. Pardon. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so, first up, uncooked rice. Now the significance of rice is that it is actually used for various divination rituals, mostly in I Ching from Chinese folklore and all that. And in the Shinto religion, rice is also used for divination. So we're going to be using that as our base. That, and it'll add a bit of sweetness to our smoke. Next up, I'm going to be adding some black tea leaves. This I have about a half a cup of uncooked rice here, and 2 teaspoons of Earl Grey tea leaves. I mean, feel free to use English breakfast. The reason why I am using Earl Grey is because it's got this bergamot scent to it that's very citrusy and works really nicely with this combination of flavors. Now, tea leaves, funnily enough, do not have any particular ancient divination significance, even though you oftentimes hear of it being used in fortune telling. No, actually, reading tea leaves comes from an older practice of, well, from around the same time, during medieval medieval era in Europe. They would read, the fortune tellers would read like spatters of molten materials, such as, say, lead or candle wax or just molten metal. It's not exactly all that safe. It wasn't until the 17th century, when Dutch traders brought over tea from China, that it started becoming more of a thing with tea leaf reading. When you drink your tea and then read the way that the tea leaves fall in the bottom of the cup. So that's why we're including it in this particular recipe. And that, like I said, it goes along with these ingredients. I'm gonna give it a smell. Very nice so far. Now to that, speaking of European traditions, I am now going to move on to another set of herbs. First, I'll be using sage. Sage is historically, in many cultures, whether it's Roman, Greek, or Celtic, thought to help clear the mind and denote wisdom. It was also used for purity within rituals. So we're adding that as well. That's some rubbed sage, and that was about, let's see here, about a teaspoon of rubbed sage. Next up, I'm going to be adding some marigold petals, or also sold as calendula. This is not the first time I've used this particular plant. Funnily enough, I'm about to say that, I know I'm saying that again. Calendula, or pot marigold, was considered sort of a plant to ward away negativity, or rather, ward away witches. Also, funnily enough, it's used for divination rituals that are also associated with, guess what? Witchcraft. You would either take marigold and put it under your pillow to be able to read your dreams, among other things. Like, help you interpret your dreams. Or you would do this whole sort of does she love me or does she not love me thing with marigold petals. Associated with divination, and also the Latin name for marigold comes from a Roman prophet. So, funnily, crazy enough, with that, especially associated with warding away witchcraft, it kind of doesn't quite do what it's thought to do. So yeah, if you were wondering what other recipe I've used this in, I did a spiced cider inspired by Hocus Pocus, the 90s Disney movie. You can find that on the blog, thegluttonousgeek.com. I'm going to try to drop that in the chat for you. Is that going to work? No, that's not, because my Stream Deck is being weird. But anyway, I've got about a tablespoon worth of dried marigold. Just gonna toss that in there as well. The nice thing about marigold, too, is it has a really sweet and pleasant scent, which is going to be lovely with our honey-coated mushrooms. All right. So now that I've added that to the mix, our last ingredient for our smoke mix are, in fact, bay leaves. Yes, the little stickler things that get caught in your throat are considered a prophetic herb. They were chewed by the oracle, well, chewed or burned by the Oracle of Delphi to help with her visions. Now, bay is not actually a narcotic. Just so you know, I am not telling you to put narcotics in your food. Yet. No, it's probably more likely that pockets of ethylene gas under the Temple of Delphi were more responsible for the Oracle's visions, or, you know, she could have just been a little unstable and they had visions coming out of Who knows? Anyway, since bay leaves had that significance with divination, and they were thought to help induce visions of divination, that's why we're also including in our smoke mix. It'll also add a nice spicy note to the smoke. I'm just going to crackle that up so we have a little bit more surface area for the heat to catch onto and cause more of the smoke in there. I'm using about 3 to 5 bay leaves. Granted, the ones that you buy in the store might be a different size, and don't ever spend too much money on bay leaves. To give you an idea, some stores will charge you about $3 for a tin about this big. To Cat Farmer's Market, I managed to get a bag of them. And this is not even the whole bag, for about, bang, 83 cents. So, if you can source your spices from cheaper locations, I highly recommend you do so. So, once again, just going to break this up and mix this in. And yes, I know that this stuff tends to get caught in your throat. Well, that's okay because we're burning it. You're not eating it, you're burning it. But yeah, it's definitely got some spicy and sweet scents to it. And now just mixing that together and setting that aside. Because next up, I need to put together my stovetop smoker and not trip over footstools in my kitchen. So, for that, you're wondering, I don't have a smoker. How am I going to smoke this? Well, that's okay. If you have a stovetop and a vent hood, you're good to go. First, we're going to start out with a stock lid and a pan. About this big. I can kind of show you on the tripod so you get an idea how large this is. It's about that. It's a 10-quart stock pot. You don't really need that much space, but it's kind of helpful, you know, if you're just planning on smoking more. I would just, you know, at least find a stock pot that has a lid and that one of these, a metal steamer basket, will fit into. Just put that to the side for now. Because next, what I need to do is add another tool to this mix, aluminum foil. So, because I don't want to ruin the bottom of my pot, I want to put a layer of aluminum foil and then smooth it down as much as possible so it has good contact with the bottom of the pot to get enough heat for our smoker mix, but also so it covers it up from any spills that might happen from our oil-soaked mushrooms. Just gonna add another layer on there. Now granted, you can also do this with a wok and a steamer basket, but only if the steamer basket happens to fit your wok. Like if you had those bamboo steamer baskets, you should be good. But since I don't have one of those, I have a wok, but not a bamboo steamer basket. I just have one of these things. That's why we're using a stock pot today. All right, so I've added about 2 layers of foil to the bottom. Now I just want to take my smoker mix, kind of spread that out some. So everything is able to smoke. Okay. Then next, I have to take my steamer basket and some cooking spray and give that a good spray. Just gonna do that over the sink here because I do not want my food sticking to my steamer basket. So now that I've got that covered and open, I can just put that directly on top. Set that to the side for now and check on our mushrooms. Let's give that another stir. good so far. Just gonna let it soak a little bit longer, but in the meantime, don't you worry, we're gonna do some other things. Switch to our stove cam here. I need to start heating up some oil for my eggplant fries. Which is for that Aladdin recipe I was referencing earlier. Where did you go? Where did you go? Aha! Thermometer. And stove cam. Okay. So we got our stove cam here. And a thermometer. Just stick that in there. Rather unceremoniously, if I do say so myself. And then pour in up to about 2 inches of cooking oil in. I'm using canola at the moment, though feel free to use vegetable or peanut. Up to you. So that's about 1 inch. And that is 2 inches. Roughly. There we go. Now I just want to set my, well, for one, hope that my alarm had my, okay. So, oh, shut up you. Okay, custom. I need it to be at, are you gonna work for me? I really do need a new thermometer. It's really gonna drive me nuts. Okay. I need a different thermometer. I'll be right back, but I'll keep talking as I move. And here's hoping that my thermometer that we used for chuck roast is still around. Where did you go? Why is everything I want not around when I need it? Right. Well, we're just gonna have to eyeball it. Because chances are you might not have a thermometer either. So we're gonna eyeball it instead. Gonna take that right out. Turn that useless thermometer off. And I'm just gonna start heating it up. About medium heat to do it. That should do it. And right. Get some other things done. Bought some leeks the other day from the grocery store. I do need to cut those up. The reason why I love to buy leeks is that I can slice it up, put it in a freezer bag, and then have it available to throw a handful of it into whatever I want. So, if you wonder what leeks are, it's these things. You might recognize them from playing Pokemon and seeing a Farfetch'd carry one around. Convenient, yes, I know. Or you might just hear about them in various fantasy games, but never actually eat them, such as, you know, Skyrim. Well, worry not, you can find these at most grocery stores now, and I like them better than onions, because, unlike onions, these things don't stick together when you freeze them. So, let's see if I already have a bag ready to go. If not, I have to get one. Okay, looks like I have to get one. Gallon storage bag. There we are. Alright. So So a quick tip on how to properly hold a chef's knife. Don't hold it like that. That is unstable. It will slip. You can bend it all over the place. Don't do that, because you will chop your fingers off. See if I can bring this up a little higher so you can see what I'm doing here a little better. Okay. How you do want to hold it, however, is you take the index finger of your dominant hand, put it behind the blade right here up against, well, once again, I keep on showing you the knife that's bad to demonstrate with. We'll use this knife instead. Okay, so right there, see? Pinch it with your thumb, and I don't mean like death pinch, I mean just so you can hold it. Then curl your fingers around the handle comfortably and adjust as needed. That's not going anywhere. So, now that you know that, let's go ahead and slice up some leeks. So, my one problem I have with leeks is that you can't really do much with these things except put them into stocks, which I do, but my stock bag is actually pretty full at the moment, so I'm just gonna let Mother Nature take care of it and help with the biodegradation process thing. So, another thing you're going to notice about leeks is that you're going to get some dirt around here. That's okay. We're going to clean that off. But first I want to clear my board as much as possible, so that's why I am just cutting it into sections at the moment. So. Get any more out of that? Maybe. And I'm doing about 2-inch segments, just so I have better control of them. That's definitely more than 2 inches, but meh. That isn't as important as it is you're able to maneuver them easily enough. I mean, here, if that makes you feel better, there you go, 1.5 inches. That's not worth it. Now granted, leeks are more expensive than onions. But like I said, they don't stick to each other when you freeze them. Which is the main reason why I like to keep an entire freezer bag full of them. So, got that. Now the reason why I haven't washed my leeks yet is because since the dirt tends to go sometimes well into the folds here, I kind of need to slice them in half to be able to get it all out when I rinse it. Now, a lot of times people are going to tell you, well, just, slice them up, put it in a bowl, and then you take the wet leeks out, and they're all rinsed. Yeah, but then you have soggy leeks. And soggy leeks tend to, they tend to stick together when you freeze them. I just don't want to deal with that. So, we're doing it the slightly more annoying way. Okay, I should actually get my vet hood on because it's starting to warm up in here. Alright, hopefully you can still hear me. And my vet hood is not too loud for you. So. So, what am I going to use this for? Well, I put this on top of pizzas, I throw it into pastas, stir fry, a little bit of everything. Just use them how you would use onions. So, Also, if you're a fan of geeky food and happen to have the official Game of Thrones cookbook by Chelsea Monroe Cassell, or the World of Warcraft cookbook, or most recently the Elder Scrolls cookbook, yes, I'm jealous, but she's awesome, so my jealousy is out of admiration. She has a ton of recipes using leeks, one of which being apple and cabbage stew from Skyrim. I believe there's also leeks in her beef and bacon pie from her Game of Thrones cookbook, too. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That could use a wash. That's been washed. That's fine. That's also fine. Same with that one. That one. Two piles. Slice me and wash me. The goal is to have only one pile. Okay. Well, I can definitely smell that oil. So it's probably not too long before I start frying. Let's see, how are we doing on time? Yeah, I should get those mushrooms smoking now. It's going to take us about an hour for that to smoke. And I want you to be able to see them before the end of the stream. So, right. Put this aside for the moment. Switch it back to our mushrooms. They should have soaked up quite a bit of vinaigrette by now. So, I'm now going to take some bamboo skewers, wherever the heck I put them. Ah, here we are. I'm going to go with about 6-inch bamboo skewers. I guess these are more like 5 inches. Doesn't matter. And then just start threading them onto my skewers. If I can do that instead and fit more on there. Nope, not quite. Grab a ton of them, so I'm not reaching over nearly as much. How's that oil doing? Just going to turn the oil down a little bit. yeah, looks like I can get only about 3 per skewer for the most part. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we can get about 3 to 4 more skewers out of this batch. And that gives us about, I have to count things while counting things. And one last one with just 2. Cool. All right, just gonna put that vinaigrette to the side for now. Get it off my hands. All right. And then, put the lid on top, switch over to the stove can here. Just gonna set this here. Let's see, can you see this? No, you can't. Let's move that, okay. So you see I've got my stock pot right here. The next step, what I need to do is I need to prevent any kind of smoke from escaping when I do get this going. So, once again, we're gonna use our aluminum foil and start sealing up the edges. Including the ventilation holes that you have on top of the pot. You want those covered up as well, and kind of crimp the foil around the lid to prevent any smoke from escaping. Now, if you're wondering, does this method really work? Yes, it does. I've done it multiple times. I've done it with chicken wings. I've done it with Scotch eggs, smoked salmon, pork skewers, which I totally did. Oh no, those weren't. God, what else did I do this with? All right, smoked salmon inspired by How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah. Okay. Got a little bit of a gap right there. I'm just going to cover that up. Right there. Okay. So yeah, my stock pot is now sealed up. So what I first want to do is turn the flame on to high, and just the highest setting you can get at this current moment. For that, then I want to set a timer for 5 minutes, and then just let it go and start heating up as much as possible. In the meantime, we can switch back to our prep cam, and I get these leeks sliced up. Okay, that's all clean, so let's just go ahead and slice these up. Get them into a bag. So you see I'm just slicing them into half moons and doing kind of a rocking motion with my knife. I mean, the blade is not actually fully leaving the board, which helps keep it from slipping. But just gives me better control over the knife in general. Okay, so stuff that into a bag. And considering that a lot of times when you buy leeks, they put it in the same section as, well, everything else in the produce section, which drives me absolutely crazy because there's no need to keep constantly spraying onions with water. That's why when you usually find it in the grocery store, the greens on the top are kind of wilty and gross. But everything underneath it's just fine. Let's see, Salami Express. What do you mean by blade not leaving the board? Okay, well, when I'm doing this rocking motion, the edge of the blade is always in some point of the blade keeping contact with the board because I am pushing and pulling back. Push, push, push. So don't really think so much as doing like that as you are using the resistance you have with the knife and the board itself. So you're kind of pushing and letting it go forward and then drawing it back, push forward, back, push forward, back, push forward, back. And I mean, this edge has not actually left the board. So yeah, that's your knife tip of the day. You're very welcome. Honestly, the more you practice just slicing vegetables on your own, the better you'll get at it, the faster it goes, and it's actually kind of therapeutic. I know I like doing it. I mean, granted, when I've been working about 10 hours and still have things to photograph, I'm like, I don't want to cook. But then I get into just cutting up stuff, which I know sounds like something a serial killer would say. Like I said, it's kind of therapeutic. I mean, a lot of times when you see on cooking shows with chefs doing this whole number, yeah, that's how you chop your fingers off, or just get cut, or have things just flying all over the board. You don't want that. I say this as I kind of wave my knife over my hand, like I'm, yeah. I have a tendency to talk with my hands. Don't judge me. Oh man. Okay. And it is getting warm in my kitchen. Should I hook up a USB fan or something? Currently taking photos of things at my new job. Oh, that's cool. What are you doing for your job? Or rather, what things are you taking photos of? Because I can relate. I take photos of pretty much everything I do, which, in fact, I'm going to be pulling out my camera in about a minute to get a start or continuation on some of these fries. Because I will say it's been, ooh, it's definitely been an effort. Okay, I can't say exactly what satellite parts. Okay, that's cool. That is wicked cool. Yeah, I kind of had to do sort of a crash course in photography myself when I started doing the food blog and all that. I've got a Canon Rebel T6i, and God, what's the name of my nice lens? I think it's a 7722 f-stop 2.8. It's a Tamron. It's really nice. It cost about as much as my camera did, but oh boy, it's definitely made my photos pop, so it's been worth it. Okay, so the timer for 5 minutes has gone off, so I'm just going to switch back to our stove. That is why I want to then, oh yeah, it's definitely smoking. Turn the heat all the way down to low, and then set a timer for 55 minutes. So we're just going to let that keep going on our mushrooms and go back to our prep cam, where I continue to slice me some leeks. So yeah. Though when I first started out, I had this point and shoot camera, and I thought I was so good. I'm just going, oh no. People are not going to care what this looks like as long as it tastes good. And then I realized that people tend to eat with their eyes first, and you know, it's just something, like, it's just part of the industry. I mean, you have to not only make it taste good, but you have to make it look appealing enough for people to taste. So I ended up having sort of a crash course in not only plating, but also digital photography. So, I'm running this blog since May of 2015. I'm at gluttonousgeek.com. Only started streaming back in February, and that's because friend of mine, little_red_dot. She's here on Twitch, and she runs a role-playing channel where, you know, various tabletop role-playing games played with various parts. See, I have no idea. They just gave me a cam and told me to take pics and file them. Hopefully, soon I get to build and assemble parts. That's still pretty damn awesome, dude. I salute you. Congrats on your new job, and congrats on getting into the industry that you're interested in. I can definitely relate. So mainly D&D. Actually, she's branched off more to games like Fate Core, and has done a lot of homebrew with it. Like, she did what she called Fate of the Appliance Wars, where it was Fate, but it was playing basically a Brave Little Toaster RPG. She also did an Acreman themed RPG where, like, it was done into sort of the style of a news broadcast from the 70s. Everyone was in costume. It was fantastic. And recently, I've been playing with her for a Witch Girls game, which is kind of its own system, actually. But I can't remember which system it's similar to. It's pretty easy to pick up. But the content's kind of like a mix of Mean Girls and Harry Potter. So I've been playing this character who grew up in an alternate reality based off of 1950s and 60s sitcoms. And now she's in the modern world, and it's been interesting. I mean, for one, she now lives with a bunch of colors, and for two, technology is still interesting for her to figure out. I mean, she's so proud of herself for getting a BlackBerry. Still figuring out how to text and do shorthand with texts. I mean, she still signs off her texts with Love, Loretta. So, it's been a fun game, and we actually are on the second season of it. First season was back in November, I want to say. Now we've got about 2 episodes left in this run, as well as a giveaway going on for the hardcover Witch Girls book. If you follow her channel and go and find her on Twitter, you should be able to find info about the giveaway. And they'll also include a dice bag made by Eris Savad Designs, based off of Witch Girls. So, yeah. See, sounds great, actually. I feel like it's more fun amongst friends because you can play off each other's personalities. Oh, yeah. And the reason why I love this game so much is that I've made friends with my fellow viewers. And even though we're all, with the exception to maybe Tiffany and Chelsea, us being all 3 in Atlanta, everyone else is in different states, and we're all playing at the same time, and I've made friends, like practically sisters, with people I'm probably not going to see until Gen Con, which I'm super excited about. Yeah, so okay, I've sliced some leeks up. So, do I want to use a plate for my fries? I can use a plate for my fries. I need another plate. But yeah, going up to Gen Con all by my lonesome, unless I can convince my husband to come up. It's the same weekend as his brother's bachelor party. So yeah, he's still on the fence about whether he should ditch that or go to Gen Con. He's never been. I went last year. I had a blast. But otherwise, it's going to be me driving up from Atlanta to Indianapolis in the middle of the night. Woo! A road trip by myself. What I was doing, yes, eggplant fries. So, for Aladdin, we have the opening scene of the animated series Aladdin with the song Arabian Nights, and you have the peddler with the weird kind of device thing that also makes julienne fries. So I was thinking, what would a, ancient Arabian version of julienne fries be? Now, julienne is the cooking term for slicing into little itty bitty strips. This is more of a plank than it is a, let's see, my web decided to reboot itself just then. Oh, okay, well, hopefully you didn't miss too much. These are more planks than they are julienne because they're about a ½ inch thick. But yeah, potatoes were more of a new world item. They were actually originated from South America, even though you see references to potatoes in like older cookbooks, even around the medieval era. That was the term for just basic root vegetables. So we're talking like rutabaga or turnip or celery root. Just if it's some kind of root vegetable that's edible, they probably called it a potato before the term was kind of put onto the South American version that we all know today. Eggplant. There is a type of medieval Arabian dish called brinya, which is one of the few vegetable dishes that was popular back then. Because back then, non-vegetable dishes were referred to as, I can't remember the word off the top of my head, but it literally means counterfeit. So they're saying that vegetables are not food, which I assume that many people will still agree with today. However, brinya is an exception because it became a delicacy. First, it was considered toxic and gross because, hey, it's not really food, and being a part of the nightshade family and also resembling things in the nightshade family, they considered it being toxic. However, when you fry it up with some spices, especially with a mix of some caraway, coriander, and I think I've got garlic in here too, it makes a very tasty dish, and a lot of Arabian nobles decided that, hey, this stuff ain't so bad. So we are making eggplant steak fries. I've had them soaking just so they would be slightly less counterfeit in some goat stock. And then I'm going to mix of chickpea flour, caraway seed, coriander, and garlic. And that's what I have in this bag right here. And I also need to check to see if my, what's it called? Oil is hot enough. You want to see how I do that? Without a thermometer, because, okay. Okay, that's not quite as hot as I would like it, so I'm going to turn up the heat just a wee bit. Wait a little bit longer. I had to put it down to low earlier. Your extensive knowledge of root vegetables is admirable. Well, thank you. Part of it is I have a tendency to research things to death, to the point where it annoys even me, and also why it tends to have me getting posts out a little bit longer than I expected. So I'm waiting for that to heat up. Now, to go along with this dish of julienne fries, I'm going to be, well, I actually did start making a ketchup on Monday, based off another scene in the animated series Aladdin. You know when Jasmine happens to be going through the food stalls and having all the various hawkers hawking their wares to her? Sugar dates and pistachios. Well, I made a sugar date and pistachio ketchup that I've already had soaking. I just need to take a blender to it and sieve it to make it more ketchup-like. Tomatoes, not really a thing in ancient Arabia, even though a lot of Middle Eastern dishes today use tomatoes, and that is from an older cooking practice that they did where they would soak things with various fruit juices, which we have included in our ketchup. We actually using apple cider vinegar, which apple juice was definitely used in old Arabian cooking. Also had that with some soy sauce, which I know is not really a Middle Eastern food item, but it's based off a different food item called murri. Murri is a condiment, well, let's just say that every culture has some kind of condiment that tastes amazing, but you probably don't want to know how it's actually made. Murri is basically fermented barley, bread, mold with liquid and all sorts of gross other stuff. It tastes like soy sauce apparently though. So since I don't want to do the traditional way of making it because that's gross and I don't have that kind of time, I used soy sauce instead, because when you can't have something authentic, you at least try to get a flavor that works just as well. So, let's check on that oil. All right. Bit hotter. Definitely make that a bit hotter. Okay, so yeah. Let's show you what I've got in the pot so far, or rather, in the Tupperware container, which I'm going to put into a mixing bowl, well, into a container so I can blend it better. So let's do that. My hand blender. And where are those containers? Salad dressing containers. We'll just use a regular old measuring cup. Okay. So, yesterday I had a mix of pitted medjool dates, shelled pistachios, apple cider vinegar, and soy sauce, simmering away to soften that whole mix up. Just gonna put that there for now. So I'm hoping by soaking for the past 2 nights, it's gotten a little softer, even though it probably should have been. Maycool, hi Maycool1233, nice to meet you. See, Salami Express, you know how they say ancient Asia is lactose intolerant? The first ice cream ever made was from China. Wow. I did not know that. And you know, for telling me something, I'm doing quite well, Maycool233. Salami Express, DM me in a bit for telling me something I did not know today that has to do with food. You're going to get the recipe card for this dish. Well, not for this dish, but for the smoked mushrooms today for free. So, okay. I hit that with a blender. I apologize for the noise. Let's see if I can mute that down a little bit. Should mute the mic for a second. Because all right. So okay, that's good. I like that. Probably use just a little bit more salt just to offset some of that sweetness. So I'll just mention add salt to taste in the recipe. But yeah, that is perfectly liquefied. So that should make a nice ketchup. Well, yeah, sure. I would. Thank you so much for telling me that thing I didn't know. And granted, I'm probably not going to have the recipe card out until I want to say tomorrow. So if you direct message me, I'll try to get that to you, at least the link to it to you by DM tomorrow after I post up the video of this recipe. So yeah. So you can get your stuff. So the ketchup looks aggressive or intimidating, rather. See, Fu Manchu, I wish I could smell it. The whole production looks fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, all of my regular blog post recipes, like the Aladdin recipe, that should be up next week. This week, I'm posting up a recipe I've made up based off the game Okami for some golden peach dumplings. Kind of like, if you ever had a mutsurashi dango before, or just kind of like the kind of rice ball candy dumplings that from Japan. Yeah, I did that, but made a peach flavored with kind of a peach soy sauce. That's going to be up, I want to say, on Friday on the blog, thegluttonousgeek.com. I would put the links into the chat, but unfortunately, my Stream Deck doesn't seem to be working with that section, so the links are down in the profile, thegluttonousgeek.com. My RPG based recipes for Munchies and Minis. Now the videos of that will be on YouTube after. I usually always post up the VODs of all of my Munchies and Minis recipes, so you can cook along with the stream again. Or if you join my Patreon, you can access to all of the recipe cards for my Munchies and Minis. Or, you know, sometimes you just drop something fun into the chat or a good dad joke. For the good dad joke of the week, you can get the recipe card that way too. So I couldn't get past the prologue of Okami. It's been a good long while since I played, and it's been a good long while since my followers asked me for an Okami recipe. Oh yeah, that's ready to go. So, I am finally getting around to it, especially since, I'm just taking these damp pieces here and kind of coating them in this chickpea flour mix here. Let's see, Dad, I got you. What do you call an unemployed joker? What do you call an unemployed joker? Well, I want to know what you call an unemployed joker. Nobody's fool. Oh, okay. Yeah. Fu Manchu, yeah, you DM me as well. You also get a free recipe card. And like I said, it's not going to be out until probably tomorrow, so just keep an eye on your messages, and I will get that link to you. So, okay, I'm just coating these. It's a terrible joke, but inflicting on others is oh so satisfying. Yeah, I would say so. That's why I have Dad Joke of the Week. So, but yeah, my Patreon community also has a chance to receive the various minis I paint on the show as well. And I always have random surprises, like the character sheets for said minis that I paint. This past one I just posted was for Bosco the Party Dragon, who's a dragonborn who just loves to party. Bummer DI. I told Dad Jokes once, he wasn't amused. Oh. Dang it, Salami Express, you're already getting a recipe card. Well, maybe I can send you a character sheet too. I paint too? Yes, I will be doing that as soon as I get some of these fried up. So, well, thank you. Okay, yeah, that's definitely time to get that. It's starting to get kind of a little too hot. All right. Set a timer for about 3 minutes. Set that a little lower. Okay. Cool. So while that's happening, I need to grab my camera out and get some pictures of that. As like I said, this is kind of a multitasking stream tonight. I mean, this is actually kind of a recipe test in some respects. All right, I need to get my camera lens. All right, navigating around the kitchen. Okay, yeah, I think that oil might be a little too warm. I'm just gonna put it down a little bit. See, are you doing the double fry technique? Not quite. I just kind of had these eggplant strips brining in some goat bouillon ahead of time to give it a little bit more flavor. Let's see. Oh, good, I've got my memory card in here. But the battery's not in it. There we are. So yeah, that might be a little overcooked, but next batch I think might be a little bit better. Get on the auto, turn the damn flash off. Well, it looks pretty. Just kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay. It's not the best in the world, but it'll just have to do. Okay. So you're too warm, more like scalding hot. Yeah. I mean, like I said, my, what's it called? My thermometer decided to crap out on me, so I'm sort of frying blind, so to speak. But, towels on a plate. But I've got plenty to test out with, so, I mean, like I said, this is a recipe test as well as a cooking stream. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, they look a little burned, but I think that the next batch should be fine. Whew. All right. Just okay. Tell you what, I'm gonna make this a little better on myself, I think, by putting a timer on for a minute. Let's go about a minute. Nah, no, not the microwave. Timer, minute, and then flip it over and see if that helps. Okay, in the meantime, I'm just gonna go ahead and coat some more strips of eggplant. Ah. But yeah, I've been meaning to do this pretty much all weekend, especially with the release of the live-action Aladdin, which I still haven't seen yet. So I figured since they were trying to go for a little bit more of an authentic look, you know, it couldn't hurt to try to go for a little bit more of an authentic dish. Though it's kind of interesting considering that there are theories that the original the Aladdin animated feature actually takes place in sort of a... I'll help some oil it. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Just gonna flip those over. And have it go for another minute. Okay. My husband went to see it, said he loved it. Well, that's cool. But yeah, I heard that, I saw that the theory is that the animated movie is actually set in sort of a post-apocalyptic Earth, and that's why the genie keeps on using all these modern pop culture references, because it really has been about 1,500 years, or is it 3,000 years? Either way, you know, doesn't really completely track out. It would make more sense to have all these various anachronistic things in the same area if the world of civilization is just rebuilding itself with all of the old monuments and whatnot. So that's the way I see it anyway. Okay. Here. Yep, come on. Whew. Just get a picture of that real quick. That is looking significantly better. Shut up, timer. Okay. Ooh. Please don't smudge on me. All right, plate with paper towels and things. That does look significantly better. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to change that up from about 3 minutes to 2 minutes, I think. About like a pool floating. Yep, exactly. It's a cool theory. Never dawned on me. Yeah, I think it was in a Cracked article, come to think of it, a while back. Okay. Speaking of pool floaties, got some fry floaties right here. Okay. Cool stuff. Right. I should set a timer and stuff. 1 minute. Meantime, I'm gonna get me some more wine. And by wine, I mean stuff that's in a cardboard box. Because I am cheap. Let's see how we doing. Turn the heat down a wee bit. All right. Because I am so classy, some hobo sangria, ice, and cardboard Chianti. It's not true, it's not a true lazy man sangria, because otherwise I'd be adding Sprite to it, which I'm out of Sprite. And I know, why add ice? Because it's been like 80 to 90 degrees down here in Atlanta lately, so I drink what I want. Right, stove, I need to turn that. Right. Give that a stir. And then another minute. Stir. Okay. I like how the caraway seeds are really starting to kind of become more visible on there. See, boxed water is trendy. You're in the gluttonous geek. I appreciate it. Haven't tried box water, even though I imagine it just tastes like water. Though I don't know, I'm up for it, considering that I can't usually stand bottled water because it tastes like plastic. So maybe this will taste like, you know, a plastic bag instead of a plastic bottle. Which, considering it doesn't really seem to affect the taste of box wine, I mean, that might not be a bad thing. Alright, just gonna do some more fries. Yeah. Let's see how we do on that. I'll go just a wee bit longer, about 30 seconds. Let's see here. I'm also gonna have to keep that sass to a minimum. But I like being sassy. It's part of who I am. Why would you tell me to be anything but who I am? And hopefully I didn't block. Hopefully I didn't blow out the mic too much with that. So apologies for that. I don't apologize for the sass though. Sass is all mine. Okay, back to the stove. I need to probably let that heat up just a wee bit longer. Shut up. Yeah, it's a case of the oil not being hot enough. So I kind of wanted a little bit more kind of golden brown like that. So just one more minute. Kitties with hearts. I love kitties with hearts. I also love kitties. Speaking of which, this entire time, you may not have noticed this, or even known this, because she wouldn't have made her presence known. Oh, come here, sweetheart. Right below me is my little princess Ginger. This is Ginger. She's a 20-year-old baby. She's my princess. And, yeah, she's been using my anti-fatigue mat this entire time, which, yeah. Okay, honey, I'm gonna let you go back to sleep. There we go. Yeah, why don't you curl back up? The way I see it, the better she is curled up and walking around my feet, which she does because she loves people food. And because of that, she's tripped me in the kitchen many times. She asks for ham by name, just to give you an idea. But yeah. Would you believe that little doll face is 20 years old? I can't believe it either. I am a crazy cat lady, so, I mean, I'm married, so I can get away with it. My husband's a crazy cat man at this point. I've got 3 of them. Which, knowing them, Moosey is probably in the windowsill, and Schroding is probably on the bed upstairs. Ginger likes the smell of food, and she also hopes that I drop some food while I'm at it. Okay. Alright, I think that is definitely hot enough. Let's get more fries. Well, and coat a little bit more. But yeah, and she's kind of looking around going, why did you wake me up, Mom? I was so comfy. And I was comfy. Do you have any ham or cheese for me? See, are you going to drop some though? Well, I might get into the cheese a little bit later, don't you tell her. Well, not like you can, but I'm not supposed to, but sometimes when my husband isn't looking, I totally sneak her some cheese. It's usually because I'm getting myself a snack. And I'm just, oh, but you're so precious. You should have some too. Here, baby, I love you. You're so adorable. Yeah. But crazy how we got Ginger into our little family, because we just had one cat. His name is Shrody. He's 8 years old. And I've had him since he was a kitten. Then our last apartment, there was this little neighborhood cat that would follow people because she wanted pets. However, we didn't know if she belonged to somebody or not. Then I actually met her owner, because we were originally thinking that we should probably just steal her away because we're terrible people like that. I met her owner, and apparently when she met Ginger, or back then she was Belle, she was about 14 years old. Okay, yeah, that needs to be a little hotter. Okay, but yeah, when we met Ginger, she was 14 years old. And then, I mean, I already asked the landlady if she belonged to anybody. But a few months later, especially, it was, I think I've got 3 cats total. But yeah, she followed my husband home one night. It was January, and it was wicked cold outside. Now, I know that if my baby was out in the cold, I'd be worried about where she was. So we took her back to at least the hallway indoors of the owner's apartment. I saw the landlady the following day, and she said, you know that little orange cat that you asked me about? It's like, yeah. She's like, well, her owners moved and left her. So that was when I got on the phone with my husband immediately. And I said, hey, honey, you want another cat? He said, Ginger? And I said, yup. Because we realized, and we named her Ginger because both times we had met her, well, we met her on different occasions, we both decided that Ginger was a great name for her. We met her on separate occasions. We decided that the old owners did not deserve to have the last name, the name that they had chosen for her on this cat. They did not deserve that, because they would leave this poor little girl cat, who's 14-year-old cat, out in a freeze. So yeah, she then became our baby, and now she's Daddy's little princess. So yeah, that's my baby girl, and 20 years old now. And no, we're actually in Atlanta, but it was probably the coldest winter that we've had in a very long while. I mean, it was, let's just say that, like, you know the times when you've heard the city of Atlanta basically shutting down for ice? Yeah, that's basically around those times. It was around those times. Which I know sounds kind of like, oh, you're in Atlanta, why is it, how can you handle snow? Well, the thing is, we don't have snowplows or treated roads. The ice was so thick, it came up to the curb. So, yeah, I remember there being a video of a guy ice skating down Peachtree Street. It was pretty insane. It took me about 3 hours to get home, I remember, when the snow first hit. Yeah, it took me 3 hours to get home when the snow first hit, and I was lucky because my commute was normally about half an hour, but it was also a straight shot along back roads. I know people who were stranded overnight during that whole mess. But that was also when we got a cat. So yeah, she's my little girl, my baby princess, and I love her so much. And yeah, my crazy cat lady's definitely showing. But yeah, it's something that bonds me with other cat owners. Like the other geek food blogger here in Atlanta, Pretty Cake Machine. Katarina McCauley, she's amazing for one. She's not on Twitch, but her blog is Pretty Cake Machine. She makes amazing stuff. She recently actually posted this recipe for this, this cake based off, what's the name of the Pokemon that mimics things? You know which one I'm talking about. Looks like a Pikachu. Maybe a Mimikyu? No, that's not it. That can't be it. Oh, Fu Manchuchu, yeah, she has 3 cats. Well, she has cats that she's named after breakfast food items. Eggs Benedict, unfortunately, is no longer with us. He had a condition that he died last year, poor baby. But she also has 2 other tabby girls named French Toast and Hash Brown. And yeah, Mimikyu Ube Cake. It was beautiful. But yeah, she's one of my best friends. She's awesome. She oftentimes is my sous chef for our big Game of Thrones dinner that we've had the past few years. But yeah, and recently she got a new kitty. It's this tiny little orange kitty. It's a tiny, tiny little orange kitten that she's named Everything Bagel. And it's so cute. Oh my god. I just want to snuggle it. I want to snuggle it so much, and I just realized that I forgot to set a timer on that batch of fries. Hopefully it's okay. Yeah. But she's, funny thing about when I mention her, and I also mention Ginger, she's claimed Ginger as her little niece. Yeah. Katarina comes to my house and she picks up Ginger and she snuggles her so much. It's so cute. Okay, let's. Ooh, you can definitely have the heat. Let's heat up a bit and do another minute on you. Yeah, Everything Bagel, it's the cutest thing, or as one of her friends references it as Bagel Bite. I know, it's so cute. I mean, granted, I probably would have named him Orange Juice or Orange Julius or OJ, but then we get into some weird controversial stuff, and I realize I'm covered in chickpea flour. Whatever. But yeah, Bagel Bite. And she's been posting up so many videos and pictures of this tiny little guy who's like this big. Just this big. Oh my god. I might have a problem. Yeah. Let's see. How are those fries doing? Why won't you fry more? I probably just need to let it come to temp a bit more. I'm just going to let it keep doing its thing. Orange Julius is super cute. Sounds like you love cats. Yeah, just a wee bit. The crazy thing, I didn't always have cats. Growing up, my dad was allergic to cats. So I grew up with bunnies. And my parents are now obsessed with bunnies. They have 2 Angora bunnies, which, if you ever Google Angora bunny, it's going to look like a hopping dust mop. But they have some personality. Just like cats, they love to play with toys. And they will rearrange their pen as they see fit. The biggest thing is you just gotta play with them, you know? Well, maybe that'll change color as it dries out. Let's see. Do I have any animal I'm not fond of? I'm not the biggest fan of snakes, but I'm warming up to them. I tend to do better around like little ball pythons. You know, the ones that look like little noodle puppies. But when it comes to anything that looks venomous, like the hognoses or anything like that, I get really nervous. But I think my least favorite are just bugs. Like, considering that I've brought home fleas before by accident, just by walking around the woods. I'm not a big fan of bloodsuckers. Not at all. Nope. And birds I love to talk to, but birds can be mean. Especially if they're protective or possessive of their owner, which a lot of times they are. But no, we've got 3 cats and 2 geckos in my house. We've got little Mediterranean house gecko that my husband, when my husband used to be a theater technician. So when he was working, this is the year that we got engaged, that was 2014, he found a little tiny Mediterranean house gecko baby in the set he was building. And I think the show was Urinetown at the time. So we brought him home, made up this steampunk pen, which I'll maybe post a picture up on the blog later. And we've kept him since, and we've been married about almost 5 years now. Let's see, for the right reasons, the last thing I want to do is pet a black widow. Yeah, I don't want to do that, especially since Georgia has a tendency to have a lot of brown recluses. I've not been bitten by one yet. Knock on wood. Let's see, is that hot enough? Please be hot enough. Yeah. Stove. But we also have, that does not look hot at all. Just gonna let that heat up a little bit longer. We also have a gargoyle gecko that we've named Talisker. We gave the cats their own names. Oh, speaking of other cats, hey baby, how are you? You like to meet people I'm streaming with? Come here, sweetheart. Come there. Yes, yes. This is Schrodinger. He's my youngest. Yeah, he's a big boy. And he likes to snuggle with mommy. Not so much being picked up though, so I need to put him down a little bit. Love you. He also loves boxes, which, with a name like Schrodinger, it's Schrodinger, not Spencer. But yeah, he loves boxes, which, you know, a cat named Schrodinger, well, they either like him or they don't like him. Okay, oil, are you going to be hot enough for me? That sounds kind of dirty, I'm not going to lie. Probably shouldn't put my hand on top of that. Yeah, I have to pour a little bit more oil in. Probably did a lot more than I should have for this post, so I think maybe after this batch, after these 2 batches, I think I should be done with the fries for the moment. I think I'll have enough to do photos later. Yeah, so I actually had to go shopping today for possible plating items for my dish tonight. Well, for the Aladdin dish, because I didn't really have anything that would really fit, and I kind of wanted to do sort of a fries sticking out of a cup look. Because admittedly, a plate of fries isn't really the most visually dynamic thing in the world, which is, well, the reason why you have all sorts of weird and interesting platings at gastropubs and all that. It's like, I know a streamer with cats named Socks and Mystery, and they both sleep in boxes. That's adorable. I freaking love that. So yeah, I figured a cup would be nice to put these fries in. Whether it's this one with peacock feathers, you know, kind of in reference to the movie, the live-action movie, and all of Jasmine's outfits. I found this Moroccan tea glass that I like the color of, and I think that might look kind of nice. And I found this kind of earthenware mug, which I think is pretty interesting. I actually went to World Market for stuff because I couldn't really find anything that resembled Arabian or Middle Eastern sort of looking pottery at Goodwill. But the way I see it too is that whenever I buy these things, I only buy one of each. That way I have things to kind of swap out for various photo shoots. So I've got that as well. For the ketchup, I found this little tea dish. I'm gonna use that for that. And this plate was on sale. I may or may not use it, but for this particular thing, but yeah. Let's see. Are you hot enough yet? Maybe. Possibly. Okay, I'm starting to see it kind of bubble a little bit underneath the surface. So, see, oh, you want to see my photos? Okay, well, most of them right now are on my blog, thegluttonousgeek.com. This particular recipe will be up next week for the eggplant fries and date pistachio ketchup for Aladdin. The smoked mushrooms I'm making tonight, that should be up tomorrow, providing that, do I have Discord? I have a Discord account, but I don't have my own Discord channel yet. I need to get on that, but once I do, I'll pop it into the profile link as well. So, in the meantime, my Discord account is The Gluttonous Geek, so I believe. Let me check that real quick, and hopefully signing onto Discord won't mess with my internet connection, which it sometimes does, because I have Comcast, and Comcast sucks. Come on. Let's see. Oh, no, it's gluttonous_geek is my Discord. What's it called? My Discord name. But yeah, I'll look at. I haven't really started a Discord server yet admittedly. Let me just quit out of that because I think it's messing with my internet connection, which it's want to do. Yeah. Exit. Quit. Okay. Alright, hopefully that didn't mess me too much up. Okay. Yeah, I do need my own Discord server. I do know that. Alright, let's see if this will... Okay, much better. Much better. Let's just turn that down because it's probably too hot at this point. Okay. And that is... Oh yeah, that's way too hot now. Well, those fries will be a sacrifice later. Yeah. Currently, I do not have a Discord server, but I will start that up probably within the next week. Like I said, I didn't know if there was that much of interest for it, because admittedly, most of my followers are on Facebook, Which, yes, I know, I'm an old person, still using Facebook and whatnot. Okay, that's fried, definitely fried long enough. In the meantime, that timer was up for the mushrooms, so I'm just gonna turn that off for now. Okay. And switch up things for other things. You'll see in a minute as I switch to my prep cam. You can call it here. It was fun. Enjoy your stream very much. Thank you so much for joining me. Next week I'm going to be making something associated with the word good I haven't figured out yet, but 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. Please do join us. In the meantime, everyone who's still here, it's time for the unveiling of the smoked mushrooms. Haha. Hopefully not burn myself in the process. Haha. Oh wow, yeah, there's still a lot of smoke coming out of that. Whew, alright. Alright. Whew. Got a little bit of steam there. Oh, man, that smells good. Alright. I got a lot of steam on my prep board. Okay. So, there we go. Smoked mushrooms. Oh, they smell just like tea. Oh man. Okay, just need another plate for that. Put that all on top of. So I got my prep can back. I mean, admittedly, unlike if I used hardwood, it didn't really change the color all that much of them. Yeah, camera's a little steamy too. Yeah, it'll dissipate in just a second. In the meantime, just want to get this all out. Oh, gone. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me just move that out of the way. Okay. Right. And there we go. Smoked mushrooms. All right. Really good. Now I'm mostly getting the kind of flavor of the tea and the rice in there. The other flavors are just a little bit more subtle. So, but, if you want a little bit more flavor, if you still had that vinaigrette that I showed you how to make earlier, you can also use that as a dipping sauce. So, just gonna. It's a big thing to know about cooking. Fat adds flavor. Well, fat is a flavor carrier. So that's why it's important that you incorporate some kind of fat into your cooking. Acid also helps brighten flavors and balance flavors. So that's why I had the red wine vinegar in there. So yeah, there's my mushrooms. I'm gonna take a picture of these later. In the meantime, I've got some fries to finish. I think this is all that's left of them. So we're just gonna pop them all in there. Hope that's what's left of them. Well, I say that's what's left of them, so all at once. They may turn out well, they may not. Either way, we've got enough for our photos. So, just a quick bit of cleanup, and then I can get to painting. Yeah, you thought it was just going to be cooking this entire stream. No, No, it's time to finally paint something. It's not just me getting caught up in blog post recipes. It's called Munchies and Minis for a reason, because I paint minis. So, dish towel. Oh right, I should probably get a photo of that thing. So, fries. Ooh, that looks nice. Really? Nice. Okay, so if you wanted to see that. Yeah. Oh, and also as a sneak peek, because I know that you're probably also curious about how those dumplings turned out. There we are. Aren't they pretty? So yeah, that's going to be up later this week on the blog. So, okay. Let's turn off the camera for now. Give these a stir. Too hot for Twitch. Well, thank you so much. Right. Let me clean that off for a second. Then get my paint station in order. Right, there we are. Let's see, I think those fries are probably done. So a wee bit longer, about a minute. Finish setting up then. Cup water. Chair. Scare the wits out of my little cat with the noise. No, it's not an actual step, but that just kind of ends up what's happening. I think those are done. Okay. Yep, fries are done. And it's now so much quieter in this house. All right. Okay, so let's continue. Oh, let's turn my camera down a wee bit so you're not just staring at the top of my head. There we are. Okay. All right. And how are we doing on that? Yep, that looks good and centered. All right, so I've been working on this shambling mound just a few days ago. Still trying to figure out the ins and outs on it. I've already hit it with a dark tone shade to at least get all the details out so I can see them a little bit better. It's definitely a new one to play around with, so do bear with me as I figure out how to make this look a little bit more distinctive. think I might need to get a bit more of the greens in. Ooh. It is warm. But in the meantime, I'm going to try out one of these fries that's cooled down with some of my sugar date ketchup. Let's see. Okay, that's delicious. That's magical. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with this recipe. It is safe. It is safe to put on the blog. Yes. And it is going to be addictive, I can tell you that. Okay. So where are my browns? Where are my browns and my greens? And oh, they're right there. I can do things good. All right. All right, let's get you with the maybe a liner brush. It's a spotter. One's a liner. Let's try you and see if that works out. Just trying to hit some of these leaves and dry brush a bit of the greens on so I can find the various leaves. Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay. And admittedly, this is kind of the part of the process where things just don't and are not going to look all that impressive. If you want to see some of the more finished things I've done as of late, let me just see if I can pull those up for you. Ah, yes. This is Herbert the Hugbear. He is this past month's mini. Our friend Katarina got him as part of her random surprise. So yeah, I just need to make up a character sheet for him, and he'll be on her way, and the character sheet will be on the way to my patrons. Then I just put up a character sheet for Bosco the Party Dragon, who is Dragonborn, who just wants to bring the party. And that's the back of his shield. Very happy with how that turned out. And Bubbles the Belligerent. So, yeah. So, yeah. Even though it kind of takes me a little while to get to this stage, that's the thing, all minis kind of look like crap when you first start painting them. That's the nice thing about painting minis as opposed to painting pictures. I mean, I've done both, but I don't have to worry about keeping track of the lines so much with minis. And I can just kind of play with the highlights and shadows as I go along. And if I mess up, I can just cover it up, and the guidelines are still there for me to work with. So that's why I really enjoy it. Let's see, did I have the microphone on my own stream? I should probably mute that. Yeah, there we are. Okay. Yep, that was my Stitch voice. So I will admit, I'm kind of tempted to, speaking of doing voices, I've been severely tempted to kind of replay one of my favorite games, Dragon Age Origins. And I noticed since Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition both have PC, like player character voices, but the main character in Origins does not. I'm kind of tempted to replay, stream it, where I try to do a voice for the player character. And then just have a different voice for each one of the origins or something. I mean, I'm not really sure how well it would do. I'm a little worried it might get kind of offensive, because it's been a while since my British accent actually sounded British. See, why not mod if you can? So I played that forever ago, didn't get real far though, and then my comp died, never picked it back up. Well, I don't really know how to mod, to be honest with you. I mean, get that out of the way, it's driving me nuts. That, and, you know, I figure it might be a fun performance medium. I mean, if anything else, I might just be able to record it at first, see what I get, see if I can maybe even edit some of the stuff down, put it on YouTube maybe. I don't know, the reason why I've never really gotten on YouTube before except for recently is that, goodness, like doing a blog post on its own is just so much work. I mean, the thing is, it's not just creating a recipe and taking pictures. A lot of it has to do with research, because I don't like making stuff that just looks like stuff. I like there to be some kind of significance behind it, because, I mean, I was an English major in college. I am obsessed with finding a deeper meaning in things. So yeah, there's the research portion of it. Then researching to make sure if I can do it culinary-wise, because I kind of have, if I've never done a certain technique before, I have to look up how to do that, and then adapt the heck out of it to actually have it work. I mean, you kind of saw me testing it tonight. Then there's the photos, and then there's the write-up. Which, imagine trying to write an English paper on food every week. That's basically what I'm doing. At least with Munchies and Minis, I'm able to do a video, and the posts the write-ups are more up for a basic teaser as well as for SEO for those, but they're kind of formulaic at that point, because they're sort of designed to get people to watch the video or get interested in getting the recipe card. With Twitch, the nice thing is I don't have to store any of these videos on my hard drive, which is great, considering that photos alone take a giant chunk of hard drive space. And I will admit, I am horrible at writing up scripts ahead of time. It becomes a procrastination thing after a certain point. But yeah, it sounds like fun. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, there's a reason why I've been doing this for the past 5 years, and it's just because I enjoy it so much. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like it. I mean, they say if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, but no, it's actually more, if you do what you love, you work every day of your life. It becomes an obsession, and you have to keep it going. But I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. So yeah. But also another reason why I'm doing Munchies and Minis is that I want to be more involved in the tabletop community. I mean, I had such a blast at Gen Con last year, hanging out with a lot of my friends, both old and like people that I've been friends with, but also people that I met there. I wanted to do a bit more role-playing games. I subbed your YouTube channel, looking forward to seeing the videos there. Oh, well, thank you. yeah, I've been wanting to do more tabletop stuff, especially since the only D&D sort of post I had before I did all this was for a bunch of campfire recipes that are fitting for Dungeons and Dragons and also good for playing a game around a campfire. So you get kind of the food ambiance as well as just the ambiance of being a party sitting around a fire. That is actually one of my most popular posts. But I also know that I can't just do tabletop all the time. I still need to keep with what's relevant, but also with what I like and just whatever I darn well please. So that's why I've, that's why I've done Munchies and Minis, so I can at least have a weekly D&D recipe, or a tabletop recipe, without having to commit to a 1,500 word write-up every time. Or commit to taking progress photos all the time. This, I've got the video, I don't need progress photos. I can even hold off on taking the finished photos until tomorrow after I've had some rest, which that's the big illusion a lot of times with food blogging. A lot of stuff that you see on the final photo isn't always just fresh out of the oven, and there's a reason for that. Part of it is that we just photographed and made this thing like just over the past couple of hours. I mean, when you cook it up, it doesn't take that long to cook, but when you're taking photos at the same time and developing the recipe, it does take that extra time. So it's like I've plated it. Now I'm too hot, tired, and sweaty to take the final photo. Let's put that in the fridge and take a photo of it tomorrow after I get home from work and have rehydrated. But I do eat everything that I cook, so that's... I mean, in some cases, like, you need to have it fresh, like with the dumplings that I did yesterday. Those needed to, well, yesterday, 2 days ago, those had to be fresh because they tend to get really hard and chewy once you've let them dry out. But with this stuff, I mean, this is going to stay looking pretty pristine even overnight. Except if I eat it. Oh my god. I can actually taste the goat bouillon in that piece. Holy crap. Sorry, this is not me trying to show off. This really does taste that good. I also haven't had dinner tonight, so... Oh my god. Man, that's good. Okay. Scarves might help you with your setup. Show off, you did something amazing. Oh, thank you. My photo setup for the main photos is actually upstairs. Wasn't always like that. It used to be that I shot everything right here. And then I went upstairs. And then I came back down here because I had better lighting. But recently, I want to say just about a month or two ago, my husband finished up my roommate and I's studio upstairs. We redid the floors. He put in a built-in desk. It's awesome. So that's now my photo setup. I get plenty of natural light. I'm able to shift things around nicely. I've got rolling carts with all my display plates, and I love it so much. Times I am very happy that I married a theater technician. He works construction now, but to kind of give you an idea, story time. I met my husband at Anime Weekend Atlanta in the bar because we were old enough to be there. Anime conventions tend to draw kind of a younger crowd, so we both ended up in the bar. I was being hit on by somebody else whose name, well, his last name was wrong, spelled R-O-N-G. That's right, folks. I was being hit on by Mr. Wrong the night I met the man I ended up marrying. But yeah, I met him. He had a companion cube on his head. I was dressed as a steampunk version of a Valkyrie. I met my husband at MetroCon. He was dressed as Naruto. I dressed as Hinata. I got behind him, probably cut people in line, and when he turned around, I was like, we should have lunch together. Oh, that is adorable. I love that story. Yeah, but yeah, neither one of us were hitting on each other at the time, because he had lots of hat hair, and he was also trying to get in touch with another girl he had met that weekend. But as I would, like, Mr. Wrong, like, you know how some guys will try to, like, kind of go, plan to go over AWA the first time this year? Well, I might see you there. Haven't decided yet. It's one of those kind of I might go, I might not go conventions. I just like to go and meet up with friends and all that. I might be there with my friend Henry. I was at MomoCon this year. That was a lot of fun. And I'm also, of course, going to be at DragonCon this year. In fact, I'm writing the press releases this year, so there's that. I've been going to that convention for about 15 years, by the way. But, yeah, like, you know how some guys will pretend to be, oh, Minnie's looking amazing. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Still kind of... Right now, I'm just trying to get a lot of colors and highlights and shadows. I will admit, the shambling mound is kind of stumping me a little bit, but... maybe I'll feel better once I get those mushrooms painted. But yeah. Mr. Wrong was kind of acting like, oh yeah, steampunk, yeah, Norse mythology. Like, you know, he's trying to act like he knows what you're talking about because he wants to get in your pants. Carter's like, yes, Norse mythology, and steampunk, and I'm also medieval Batman, and I'm just going, that was you. That's right, my husband has a medieval Batman costume made with metal. It looks amazing. Just Google medieval Batman and Catwoman, and the both of us should pop right up. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking, wouldn't it be hilarious if I end up with this guy who's not even trying as opposed to the person who's actually trying to get in my pants? We then found out about a party on the 14th floor. We got up there, and the guys were all trying to figure out how they could convince the doorwoman to let them in. I knew the doorwoman. I was like, hey, Lydia, how you doing? She's like, I'm doing all right. It's really crowded in there. You can go in, just you, though. And I was about 5 sheets to the wind at the time, so I'm like, okay. I don't know these guys from Adam. Okay. So yeah, I ditched everyone, including the man I would eventually marry, that evening. So... and how we actually did get together, that's a different story. It's about 9:15 though, and I think I'm starting to run out of spoons. I know we just got painting, but I've done a lot of stuff tonight, and I should probably feed my husband. So, well, feed myself and my husband. If you like tonight's stream, follow or subscribe or whatever you want to do. I appreciate you showing up tonight. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed having a talkative crowd tonight. Definitely helped definitely helped keep the conversation going, because otherwise I'm just rambling on various random stories that I just happen to pick. If you want to, there's always another night. Excellent. And I think that you and Salami Express both owe a recipe card for tonight's smoked mushrooms. So just DM me, and I will send you a link to that once I get that up tomorrow. If you like tonight's stream and want to, I am streaming again, Munchies and Minis, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday. I also have a informal Monday night stream called Meal Prep Monday, where I'm just prepping and cooking random stuff that I need to get done. That is 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Monday evening on the same channel. I hope you had as much fun as I did tonight, and let's go ahead and see if we can, let's see if we can go ahead and find someone to raid here. That should be pretty fun. Who is streaming right now? Let's see, who can we raid? Who is on? Who is on? Wonder. Okay, see, Fairy Wings is currently streaming. She makes chainmail, and she's just a nice person all around. Let's go ahead and raid her. My name's Catherine Barsonistas. You've been watching the Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis. This episode was for Prophetic Smoke Mushrooms. Next week's 52 weeks of D&D challenge word is good. I have no idea what I'm going to make yet. We'll have a little bit of a better idea later next week. Anyway, you have a great night, and let's go ahead and raid in about... Oh wait, no, that's Chef de Party. Okay, well, we'll raid Chef de Party's stream. Raid! 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and raiding!